Three. Hello and God bless you. This is Ellen Mongan from Wow Mom, and we're welcoming you today because I have a co-host named June Council. Hey June, good to see you. I have different co-hosts. I like the variety. June's a favorite friend. She and I started out together on Wow Mom, and God has called her to do a major thing in the Arab conferences right now. But she comes on when I ask her, and I'm so thankful. Sometimes I go alone, June. I have so much fun in the air with you, though, and I know it's full of surprises today because we have a special guest. You can see her, but you don't know who she is. And this is what we do the show is Wisdom from the Old Ladies. And that's my mom, Eleanor Manfredi. And June's going to give a little preview of who she is.
I'm Eleanor Manfredi. I'm 96 years old. I've had 5 children and lost one. And I did catering for a living when I wanted to buy some extra things for the family. So I went into catering because I wanted to be home with Julie, who I had late in life, and didn't want her to come home to an empty house. So I thought about all these different things I could have done and came up with catering. No experience, no schooling, and did very well with it.
She did. Dude, she did. This is the funny part about God, June. She has not seen that paper. And she, say that you're going to read. She has not seen it, but see, she knows. Here's the Lord. Good.
Let me read something that her daughter Ellen wrote. And it's called The Unstoppable Mom. Do you remember playing dress up as a little girl and trying on your mommy's high heels? Asking, will these pretty shoes ever fit me, Mama? Without hesitation, your mom replied, one day, those high heels will fit fine. Moms have a way of instilling high hopes into their daughters' hearts. They pass down their daughters more than just a pair of pretty high heels. They pass their beliefs, fashion tips, recipes, character traits, wisdom, and most importantly, their love. Part of being a mom is teaching your child to fly, then to let go with them and soar like an eagle. Another part is becoming their best friend while still being a mom. Mom did just that. When I heard about the Unstoppable Mom contest, I knew I had to enter my mom. Unstoppable is her middle name. At almost 88 at the time, she's now 96, but Ellen wrote this for a newspaper. She lives her life fully alive. Nothing stops her. She has faced bladder cancer, carotid artery blockage, high blood pressure, and a broken shoulder. When a physician error caused her to have major surgery on her bladder, surgery facing weeks in the hospital, she was forgiving. When her weekend getaway with the girlfriends ended in a freak accident resulting in shattering her shoulder, she persevered. She reluctantly agreed not to walk upstairs on her high heels again, or at least around her friends. She embraced PT miraculously, regained use of her arm, even though she had never done a workout in her life. After all, that arm was needed to hold her bridge cards. My mom is no longer a stranger to suffering. She willingly moved every year to appease my dad's career decisions, single-handedly packing up the home, the children, and moving on with excitement in new beginnings. And that was 5 children. She accepted a pregnancy at age 44, just when she was seeing the light at the end of the carpool lane. When retirement took her out of her comfort zone from the Midwest to the Deep South, she reinvented self, becoming an entrepreneur. She went from changing diapers and washing dishes to changing lives. She became a statement of how you can do and be whatever you want to be. If you put your mind to it, with a mother's heart, she chooses a second career where she would still be available to her youngest child. As my dad slowed down with frequent health problems, Mom found a new skip in step. She bought Wisteria Manor in Aiken, South Carolina, and became both a caterer and a legion. She tells everyone with a personal pride in her, I worked until I was 80 years old. Now, as a widow, she is more alive than ever. Nicknamed the Merry Widow. Mom is an old-fashioned gal with a modern voice and not afraid to speak her mind. She is a voice of wisdom to those who will listen. My daily laugh on our morning phone calls and an example to follow for those who suffer. I applaud Mom, an unstoppable woman of valor who looks obstacles straight in the eye and never runs away. Those who know her want her to be their mom too. I, June Council, want her to be my best friend. I want her to write a book on how to grow old gracefully, while others just admire her spunk. Me. Perhaps it's because she is witty and wise, or because she is still quite the style setter, high heels and all, or because she is willing to sacrifice at her own expense, even if it is with a tear in her eye. Unstoppable mom, but an unstoppable woman. She, with strong drive and big heart, has touched lives she will never be aware of. She can still run your aid in those high heels if you need her, because nothing is stopping her for being there for someone she loves. My mom, Eleanor Manfredi, deserves the title of the Unstoppable Mom. Do you agree? And now she's 96, having a little trouble with high heels, but I at 77 can't wear high heels.
I love that. I lost the contest. It was for Kelly Ripa. Those who know me, like to watch Ryan and Kelly. That was when it was Kelly and Michael, I believe. But I didn't win the contest, but it did make the Aiken paper, and it was an honor to her because Mom is unstoppable. That's why I wanted to show you about situations you face and how you overcome them. Like if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade or else margaritas, depending on your flavor.
Ellen, I never know you wrote that. That's the first I've heard of it.
Was in the Aiken paper many years ago with a picture of all the family that, except Pat and I, all the kids, grandkids, and people. But where would you like to begin, Mom? What one of those trials? Some people face one trial in a year, but that was that year she faced all those. What trial would you like to face, or June, do you want to pick it up somewhere?
No, I want to hear what Eleanor has to say. I love her.
Okay, so that's good. I go. When do you want to talk? When to start the meeting? You know what? All this time I haven't started the meeting. I taped it, but I didn't start it. I don't know what that means. We'll see. Okay. Hello. And God bless you. This is Ellen Mongan. Wow Mom. We're continuing with the Wow Mom, Eleanor Manfredi. So at the end, May, June, you might have to read it again, depending on if we lost it. Okay. So okay. What do you want to say, Mom?
Well, I stopped wearing high heels, I think around 70 or close to 80. I stopped wearing them. They were dangerous. And Ellen's still wearing them. And she scares me when she goes up the stairs and down the stairs with her high heels. And I'm so afraid she's going to fall and break her neck.
No,
she's already got pain. She's already got pain in her neck.
Hold on. Lord, to take care of the angels. No, it is hard to walk in flats if you have worn high heels, but you do very good. She looks down. June, this is a funny thing. She looks down when she walks, right? She tells me too, but then Pat puts his coffee on the floor. We know my husband. And so she tries her best to look down and avoid all things in the way, which I think is brilliant. She has a lot of wisdom, June, practical wisdom. You have longer.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to talk about solutions to problems?
Whatever you
Yeah.
talk about.
Yes,
Well,
one
That was a
I
solution.
had a neighbor. I
okay.
had a neighbor that had 3 boys that were rough and tough,
Okay.
and they were always picking on the other boys in the neighborhood. And I had 2 boys that were not rough and tough. They were kind of weaklings. And I had to go to the store, and I was afraid to go and leave my boys with the boys next door. So I went next door and I said to Bonnie, I said, Bonnie, I've got to run an errand. Can you keep an eye on my boys? And this way I solved the problem by having her watch my boys so that her boys wouldn't hurt them, you know. Anyway, that was one thing I thought of. What did you do, June? Did you have a problem with a solution?
There was a solution. Some problems have no solutions.
Eleanor, you were nicer than me. I had a son that had ADD, and he ate with his fingers. And the next door neighbor told me that he couldn't come to the birthday party because he ate with his fingers still.
Oh my.
And so my son, being the way he is, he now has a doctor's degree, so you know he's very smart. The boy would beat him up every day. He was younger than my son. He would beat him up every day because he was bigger, but he was younger. And so I told her, you know, he's beating up my son. And she said, well, he's younger. And I thought, okay. And then next thing I know, my son took it for a while, and then he took a board and hit her son. I thought, oh, great. So she came and told me, and I said, well, you know what? You didn't listen to me. And so, you know, I can't do anything about it because you didn't do anything about your son. And that was the end of the problem. However, it's kind of a sad thing with neighborhoods, and I love what you did. It was so diplomatic, but I don't know how I could have handled that any better. But if you can think of something, please tell me right now.
It's too late. The boys are grown now.
At least I know.
You didn't want to wrestle the lady. I think as mothers, we're always solving problems, don't you think? We always face new challenges every day. And one of the things I thought was really good, Mom helped me with this too, is when she had Julie, she really wanted to stay and do something that she could make money but not have to leave the house, because she wanted to be there when Julie came home. And so she was always there when we came home. We didn't, in those days, mothers didn't do outside jobs that big, but she did think of the catering, June, and that was brilliant, don't you think? Because then she stepped on the water, like she walked on the water of like, I've never done this before, but I'm just going to give it a try. Where so many people are afraid to try something new or to get out there and walk on the water.
It's amazing. She was so way ahead of her time with a pure heart in doing this, not trying to say I'm as good as a man, but solving the problem. It's amazing. I have a problem today.
Right?
Making sausage and peppers.
That's her favorite. Can she come over to do it?
Remember all the details on what I need to do. And I thought, okay, I'm going to see if Eleanor
perfect.
Tell me what to do, because I know I should bake them. I think, okay, I'm Eleanor. How do I do that?
What were we making?
Sausage and peppers. Italian sausage.
You fry both of them very slowly, and you put a cover on them and let them steam. It takes like a half hour, a little bit longer. And you just fry them together. They both take a long time to cook.
And you put sauce on yours, Mom, or June? Do you put sauce on it? She likes sauce on her, some of her peppers and stuff.
No, I wouldn't put sauce on peppers and sausage.
Because that was the other question I had. Thank you, Ellen.
I don't know. I don't eat it, the sauce, but we just,
I love
Mom has a problem with Mom has a problem with diet. You know, I'm concerned about the new place she wants to go live. If they have food, but she's gonna make special food for her, she says, but the way she solves it, she tries to memorize, right? What she is allergic to, and then she's doing right now a potato, which I think is great to do, like to kind of make sure she can be, when you get out of whack in your stomach, you have to, everyone knows their own body and they have to do what they do. I was amazed when she was younger, if she'd be sick, she'd always eat spaghetti or sausage and peppers, but now she does watch it. She makes sure that she can get back in focus. I think that's brilliant as well. What do you do, Jill?
Ellen thinks I'm odd because I like to eat.
She does like to eat.
And she doesn't know that she's the odd one who doesn't like to eat.
I'm really, this is like, we don't do, she likes a hot meal every day, guys. And that's I tell her that's old school. People like hot meals every day. In my generation, I hang with my 4 friends I even go on retreat with. We eat like salads, which I've been doing lately, but we do like, I'm fine with crackers and cheese for dinner, a piece of chicken. And we usually buy the chicken at Publix, get our chicken and put it over the salad. We go, okay, good for the day. It's not like, but mom's generation was a lot more about food and eating and a full meal, like a hot meal a day. Pat and I are about going out, retired couple, not doing dishes, just grabbing salad and something at Panera's. That's how we are. I'm name dropping Panera's in Publix, not on purpose. So June, what do you think? That's what I was going to show. Every generation's changed, right? Even in food eating.
Yes, that's my children eat in front of the TV.
We have been doing some.
I eat at a table.
That's terrible.
I like this table. I also like TV. We don't always do it.
We do that too.
But they're I have done a lot of eating out since I'm older, and to keep things simpler. But I mean, there's nothing like cooking a meal and making a pretty table and eating at the table. And we have lost that in our culture. We lost it. And I think it brings family closer. It's taking time. We have lost time. We have put too many emphasis on other things, and so dinner has become not important. But I do always have it at the table, and now that Matthew's living with us, we have meals at the table.
I think that's great. We try our best, but I let Pat lead because that's not my big thing. But when he wants to eat the table, if Josh is there, we used to do. I was going to show you a little prop, June and Mom. You may like this. I bought this one. Oh, sorry. When I was going to do conferences for women. And here, can y'all read it? Can you read it, June? Because I'm holding it up.
I can't see what it says.
Let me see. It says, her job was secure. No one else wanted it. And it's a picture of the old times when women, there's our, see, yeah. No one else wanted it. When the woman used to be, the women of the home. And then I have another one. This was supposed for my mom's conference I wanted to do. Still, I still want to do them for moms. And it's this one. Now, this is a more modern. And it says, my house was clean last week, so sorry you missed it. And that is funny. Can you see it? It's like a joke, but it's a true thing that the world is evolving. Let's say that the frog in the pan, it's evolving, and then change happens, and then it's hard to recoup it. Like even like on the thing of dinner table, when we were eating at the table all the time, I knew that Pat, decided at the front of the tea that I could have a harder time grasping that back. And so what priorities are important to you? You got to grasp them back right away. That's my solution. Is if you let something go down the path a while, it's hard to take it back. It is harder. Like even exercise, if you go to the workout and then you have it for a while, it's hard to grab that back. So solution to me is like, keep on doing what's right, and in due time you reap a harvest. But if you give it a little slack, even in sin or vice versus virtue, you'd be a little impatient. You grow more impatient. So you'd be better working on patience, by the way, all through as we are learning patience. What we wait for the time zone. So what else do you want to
most of the time we eat at the table? Most of the time, it's only once in a while that we eat in front of the television.
Yeah, we're doing more of the television lately, only because of the election and all that stuff. But Mom had all those physical things. June, what do you think about that? I think my hardest one was when she had the bladder cancer for the first time, and she had a doctor, I'm not naming his name, and he put her into surgery. And then she was in there a long time. And I'm like, well, where's my mom? Oh, they seem to have lost her. And I go, they lost her? Where'd she go? And so they found her. And then my brother Craig had to sign a paper because unfortunately they cut her bladder. And so my brother Craig had to sign a paper saying they could go in again. At the time she was 80, whatever that paper said. And he had to say okay to her to go another surgery in the same half hour. And so the cutting her bladder, they did try to repair it, but it meant that she, from the time she was 80, I can look on the notes, but for the last 10 years, I'd say, she has to have a very small bladder. It has to go to the bathroom often because of the, whoops, I made a mistake. And we did forgive, she forgave the doctor, and she suffers with this, but without complaining. She just knows how she has to go and when she has to go. It's a lot in the morning. So it's unfortunate, people make mistakes. I just love when people make mistakes and you have to forgive them, but you're stuck carrying the trial. It's a hard thing to do. It's commendable.
Eleanor,
So, yeah.
about how you were raised on complaining. That would be really cool.
She doesn't complain about that, though, June. She doesn't. Were you
No,
raised?
saying she back then, they had different, like now you're to say how you feel and where you're coming from and all that. But back then, she was told how to react to suffering. Her mom showed her, if she can remember what she said, because, and then I'll share mine. Okay, Eleanor?
We're calling
Yeah.
you.
I didn't hear the question. Is there a question?
Yeah, you're suffering, how you've done so well with suffering, and it's actually healed you and made you better, and you haven't made everybody miserable with your suffering. Did your mom and your family teach you about not complaining and not making a big deal out of it? Just do what you have to do, or did you do that naturally?
I just did it naturally. But but I left home after I got married, and at the time we didn't have telephones. You had to pay for your telephone, so we didn't keep in touch very long. So I don't know what they were doing, and I'd write letters and tell them what we were doing, but we were away most of the time, so I really didn't see my family. My brother had TB, and but nobody seemed to complain. He had TB and he never talked about it, and then he got well, and there wasn't too much sickness in our family. I don't think.
What do you think, Jude? What about you? Are you gonna give your take? I was gonna say about my grandma was kind of the hypochondriac. Like my daughter Terrell and I could be called a hypochondriac. We did have Patrick to bounce off our things because he's actually a physician, my husband. However, mom didn't want to be that. I know that's one of the reasons she didn't want to be that, because grandma's always saying, my grandma's always in bed or sitting down, and she had a lot of things. She really did have a lot of things, mom, right? She had things. She raised 6 kids, but she was always sitting down saying her rosary or in bed or had a rag over her head. At least that's what I remember my grandma. But that's when she was older and you were, not home as a kid. But grandma totally did have a lot, things, went to the doctor, loved going to the doctor. I don't know if that plays into it. You never know what people are doing. Don't you think? Interesting why people do what they do.
Right.
So June, what did you do?
Yeah. Did you have a lot of complaining in your family, June?
No. Complaining was not something that we did. You just sucked it up and what you have to
think about it.
Did it, and if you ignored it, you ignored it. Nobody cared about my suffering, so I just did it quietly. It's an interesting thing. So that was what I was going to say, was that that's how the families were, my family and my family. They both families were that way. Nobody it was like you had to just deal with it, and that's it.
I think that's
Yeah, my father was in World War one or two, I don't remember. One. And he had a lot of things wrong with him, but he never talked about them. But I noticed that he would drink baking soda every morning. So he must have had an upset stomach, but he never talked about it. And
wonder what that did for it. Oh well, see, there's recipes on this show, there's tips, there's Henri. I keep wanting to say, Jude, Mom, this is your life. You know, show the old show. Mom's favorite birthday was the one we brought about all kinds of people to talk with her on the Zoom. She had never done that or seen that before, where people from all over. We probably do that again sometime soon, but it is fun on the Zoom. What were some of the other things, Mom? I'm thinking about the ways that well, to be honest, I moved 5 times in 6 years recently. And just when you have kids, you mentioned she had 5 kids at some of the moves, just on the last one before she went to Louisville. She had Julie. But you packed this up. We always felt like it was a fun, at least me, my person, I was like, yay, we're moving. Because she'd go like, we're gonna go to this great place. It's gonna be whatever it is, Aiken, this be Chicago, whatever. And I was like, yay. I was all excited about meeting new people, and because she was up about it, but she had to do all the work, right? You had to pack up the suitcase. That's totally me too. But you had to pack them up, and you did embrace that, the moves, with a new desire to meet new friends. So what do you want to say about that, the moves? Because that's a lot.
you moved a lot too, didn't you, June?
Yes, 28 times.
Wow.
How many times?
28. The worst was
28 times?
Yes, the worst was with little children.
Worst.
I know.
Claude was in sales, and in order for him to move up, he would have to move out of the company and move into another company. And so it was a lot of times that we moved, and it was hard. But you do what you have to do.
You don't even think about it.
Right.
You just do it, but you'll have to excuse me.
Okay, that's what I said, so we're talking
I'll be back
Eleanor okay, she wants to say something else. We're talking to Eleanor Manfredi, my mom. She's 96 years old. We're honoring her today for being the unstoppable mom, because she does what she has to do, and she tries not to complain, and she also walks through a lot of tough things that may none of you all have faced. But old age is not for wimps. Do you think, June? We don't know totally at 96, but we said we're seniors.
I think it is a key to not get into self-pity and dwell on things. I think that healing can take place easier if you don't give it any time and dwell on it, and you just move on. Because if you think about it, your mother was she 86, Ellen, when she got the bladder cancer? And that's 10 years. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
A lot of prayer, June. You know, you pray, I pray, the whole chain prays for it. Prayer does heal. Sometimes you still suffer. She still has her arm. She has to go like this to use her arm, June, because they,
Right.
PT involved when her arm is shattered, which is not the smartest thing to do, as medical people know. And then there's some things that were done that increased her suffering. People make mistakes, and then she had to suffer. I think it's commendable how she made it through, but she does have a lot of food allergies, and food's her big thing, so that she's having to work with that. Hey, Mom, welcome back. You can sit down. Are you okay? You're frozen in time. So glad to have Ellen back. That's right. No, hello.
Did I miss anything?
You're frozen. Oh, there you are. Hello, Eleanor Manfredi. Welcome to the show. What do you want to say? We're talking about how now you're facing the food allergy thing, and how you're testing out which things make her sick. And she's the one that knows, because she's the one that gets sick. So she's having to change that often and make sure that, especially she's on the potato diet right now, which I think is commendable. We're going to mix in their pizza tonight, though, June. Potato and pizza, they're the same. We're Italian. So, Mom, what do you want to say about your food? How hard that is? Especially since I'm not a food.
It's very hard for me to go to a restaurant because everything is cooked on the grill or deep fried, and I'm highly allergic to fish or anything cooked with fish. And I almost hate going out to eat for that reason. And then I have to ask them what there is that I could possibly eat, because everything is on the grill or deep fried.
And what do they usually say, Mom? What do they usually say to you?
Say who?
salad. She's not a fan of salad. I'm not a fan lately.
Oh, yeah, they always
Never say
suggest salad. I don't like salads.
It's just funny because, she gets the same response and she really loves French fries. They're always really happy when she goes somewhere that they don't fry the same oil with the French fries and the whatever else, their fish or some kind. Yeah, it's a problem. It wouldn't be as big a problem for me because I just eat a Cheeto or drink the wine and I'll be fine. But when you like food, isn't it funny, June, that when things you like, then you take away, you go, okay. So she handles that very well. It's hard, and it's especially hard when we go out to eat. So June, do you have any more questions, or Mom? Because I want to leave time at the end to read that again. I'm sorry, June, because I'm not sure that it taped that beautiful reading you did, and it's on there twice rather than not at all. I'd rather have, well, she's there. Please forgive.
That's fine. Eleanor, how did you manage having a baby at 40?
Well, that's good.
Done.
43 was very hard. I cried a lot. And I used to send her to my oldest daughter's house just about all summer long. And that's how I managed. I sent her away in the summer. And but it was very hard, but we were very close. When you have one, it's easy to be close. When you have four, you're so busy, you can't get close to anybody, or just, you had four too, didn't you, June?
Yeah, I used to take them out to lunch.
That's good.
You took them out for lunch? Were you brave?
One at a time, so that I had one-on-one with them. But they still, okay, so let me just tell you, my daughter says that I love the boys more than her. My boys say that I love my daughter more than them. You can't win when you have that many. You can't win because you do not have the time. And number 4, bless number 4's heart, I was lucky to get to him. Let me just tell you, next door we had a little boy who loved our family because there were so many. His name was Thomas. And Thomas came into my house at dinner time one night, sat at the table. I threw the plates out in front and fed Thomas and didn't even know I fed him. And I had to apologize to his mother. I said, Thomas came and ate with us because I didn't know he was at the table. I mean, how you do with the children. Sometimes you're in just autopilot.
Yeah, surely.
And Ellen had 6. I don't think I could have managed to.
I had 8. I had 8 children.
No,
I had 8 children. By the way, I have 8 children, but that's okay. I have 8, and I've fed the neighborhood, June, every night. We fed 15 a night. We didn't care who was there, but the rule was we weren't going to call the moms. I told the friends, if their kid sits down, eats, I don't have time to call the moms. So I was a different kind of motherhood thing. I don't know. In those days, I did cook meals. So we're going to go on to Mom. What was your favorite thing about growing old? Since we're talking about on your solutions, growing old gracefully, and people want to be you and write a book about you.
And the best thing about getting old is people open doors for you, and you can say things and they don't get that upset because you're old.
Yes.
Other than that, all my friends are gone, and I can't honestly say I enjoy being old.
But it was good yesterday, Mom. Yesterday went to Cracker Barrel, June, and she wanted, go kind of quickly because she's a faster runner than me. And one side was blocked with a lady with a, walker. And the other side was blocked with men walking very slow. And she just, hurry up, let me get, she pushed it out of me. And then we finally get past all the people that are in the way. And there's a line of men, I'd say 6 older men on each side. And she walked through it. They kept going, look how little, it was lots of attention. So you get a lot of attention when you're old. They're all about not her age, but she blends with the 60s and 70-year-olds. No one knows her age. And it was just so comical to me. I wish I could have done a camera on it. It was so cute. You get a lot of that, Mom. You may not realize that. A lot of women admire her, June. My friends all admire her, and they want to be here when they're old. And you need to write that book, Mom. She has written one book already, but that book she needs to write on growing old gracefully, because she's getting ready to do a new season in her life, move to a new place, and see how she does there. I don't know. June believes in it. She thinks to be good. I'm thinking, what's it called? The verdict is not out yet with me. I go, okay, I hope she does okay. But she kind of rises to the occasion, June, from what we've been talking about, right?
Yes,
But she rises.
I'm a man, and I love being 77. I really didn't like being 20.
Okay.
All of my 20s, I was pregnant, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I mean, it was really a hard time for me. But now I say what I think.
That's right.
I'm more me than I've ever been, you know, and Eleanor's helping me that way.
Well, good, because you helped. My husband's a strong man of God. Unfortunately, we're not always on the same team about Democrat, Republican, or religious, some faith things. And it's fun because mom she's fearless with them. I go, don't let them scare you. Don't let them scare you. And she will say what she means. Right, mom, you'll come up and say what she thinks, and that's always good. Unless it goes bad, then it's not good anymore. We all know how that goes. But you say you're brave around that. Today is Veterans Day, y'all. We all know that the veterans, the people out there who serve our country and lay down their life for our country would not be safe without the veterans. So mom's husband, father was a veteran. My father-in-law was a bombardier. My son-in-law was Navy. My dad was something, which we don't know what he was, but her uncle Sammy was like bigwig in the military. Because we honor all those veterans there. Hats off to them. And June and mom, getting old and being a mom is just like being a warrior. It's just like every day you're like the heroes for me, because every day you have to wake up. No one knows what you do because they're not looking at what you're doing. They're looking at what they're doing. And you just make it through each day as a hero. For me, to me at least, moms are heroes. So mom, you've done a lot of things in your life. June's going to reread that. First we're going to do last words, and we'll end with the poem, because I actually don't know if I taped the poem, which would be my first mistake of the day. So mom, you get the last word, then June, and then June will read. What's your last word to sum it up? Problems come, problems go.
Enjoy every day of your life, because you never know when it's your last day. And I'm ready to go. All my friends are gone.
Does work.
Can't wait to see them. So what do you have to say, June?
You know what? I can say that I'm ready because I feel I'm right with God. But I know I have a lot of things to do and people that need me. And because I'm the mother kind of personality, I feel like I need to be here a little bit longer to help them. And that's kind of where I am, Eleanor.
Well, 75 is still young.
Well, I'm 7, but thank you for that.
Oh,
but mom, that what June said, I'm picking up on. You have work to do, or God would have taken you. She had bladder cancer 4 times. Each time she's gotten healed enough to keep on. June was doing the math. What did you say? Almost 10 years of, maybe even more. Something.
Yeah.
So God's keeping you here for a reason, and that's what we're doing these shows. We think that maybe one day you'll be a movie star. You say, I want the wise old woman on the show, because you do well on air, and that would be something you would not have tried, because mom is more of a person. She said, I would do better in the background, but she does great in the forefront. And so we want to honor you and say that motherhood's not for wimps, but neither is getting old. And if someone wants to help her write that book, we'll get it published for y'all, to say Growing Old Gracefully. She's already written How to Be a Guest at Your Own Dinner Party. We're getting it out for Christmas for her, if we can get someone to type it. So these are things that you do when you're older. You reinvent yourself like she did when she was a caterer, and you become more alive. And June, I've done this, more yourself when you're older. You just say it,
Exactly.
But when I was young, I was a chameleon, just going back and forth. Mom is kind of strong in that area too, right, mom? She knows exactly what she wants to do, and she'll say, I'm not doing that, or I can't eat that. I think it's smart, knowing yourself and knowing God. So June, you're going to sum it up, and then we're going to close. And I thank y'all for joining us. This is a tribute to mom. This is your life, the unstoppable woman. You're going to reread. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I don't think I taped it.
That's fine. The Unstoppable Mom by Ellen Mongan. Do you remember playing dress up as a little girl and trying on your mommy's high heels? Asking, will these pretty shoes ever fit me, mama? Without hesitation, your mom replied, one day those heels will fit just fine. Moms have a way of instilling high hopes into their daughters' hearts. They pass down to their daughters more than just a pair of pretty high heels. They pass their beliefs, fashion tips, recipes, and character traits, wisdom, and most importantly, their love. Part of being a mom is teaching your child to fly, then let go. Watch them soar like an eagle. Another part is becoming their best friend while still being a mom. Mom did just that. When I heard about the Unstoppable Mom contest, I knew I had to enter my mom. Unstoppable Mom is her middle name. At almost 88, at the time, now she's 96, she lives her life fully alive. Nothing stops her. This year alone, she has faced bladder cancer, carotid artery blockage, high blood pressure, and a broken shoulder. When a physician error caused her to have major surgery in her bladder, surgery facing weeks of the hospital, she was forgiving. When her weekend getaway with girlfriends ended in a freak accident resulting in shattering her shoulder, she persevered. She reluctantly agreed not to walk upstairs in her high heels again, or at least around her friends. She embraced PT, miraculously regained use of her arm, even though she had never done a workout in her life. After all, that arm was needed to hold her bridge cards. My mom is no stranger to suffering. She willingly moved every year to appease my dad's career decisions, single-handedly packing up the home, the children in her life, and moving on with excitement in new beginnings. She courageously accepted a pregnancy at age 44, just when she was seeing the light at the end of the carpool lane. When retirement took her out of her comfort zone, from the Mideast to the Deep South, she reinvented self, becoming an entrepreneur. She went from changing diapers and washing dishes to changing lives. She became a statement of how you can do what you can do and be whatever you want to be, if you put your mind to it. With a mother's heart, she chooses a second career where she would still be available to her youngest child. As my dad slowed down with frequent health problems, Mom found a new skip in step. She bought Wisteria Manor in Aiken, South Carolina, and became both a caterer and a legion. She tells everyone, the personal pride in her voice, I worked until I was 80 years old. Now, as a widow, she is more alive than ever, nicknamed the Merry Widow. Mom is an old-fashioned gal with a modern voice and not afraid to speak her mind. She is a voice of wisdom to those who will listen, my daily laugh on the morning phone calls, and an example to follow for those who suffer. I applaud Mom, an unstoppable woman of valor who looks obstacles straight in the eye and never runs away. Those who know her want her to be their mom too. Some want her to write a book on how to grow old gracefully, while others just admire.
Way back. Stop for a minute. Admire her spunk. Miss June, Council reading, not where we went.
Or because she is willing to sacrifice at her own expense, even if it is with a tear in her eye. Maybe it is because at almost 88 years old, and she's now 96, she still has what it takes to be not only unstoppable mom, but an unstoppable woman. She, with strong drive and big heart, has touched lives she will never be aware of. She can still run to your aid in those high heels if you need her, because nothing is stopping her for being there for someone she loves. My mom, Eleanor Manfredi, deserves the title of the Unstoppable Mom. Don't you agree? Yes.
June, you're excellent reader. Mom, you're excellent host. She's partly the host too on this show. We appreciate you. And I think it was a great, June, you had to read it twice, but thank you. We applaud you, Mom. And if you could have one more last word, anybody want to have like.
Thank you, Ellen, for writing that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know why we're slowing down. Our computer's giving us some trouble. We're glad you came on today, Mom. I try to have June on with you because June and her are phone friends and they enjoy each other and that they make each other come alive. And you know, they say in the scripture, June, so and so stirred the faith within me. That's what June does with other women, and we both come alive. So that was very good. Thank you again for being our guest, Tom and Mom. Thank you for my co-host, June. I always love it, and I'll invite you again, both of y'all. Maybe some show would like to pick Mom up for like respond the Today Show, Regis Kelly and Ryan. You never know, but in other words, glad to be here. And remember what Mom said, enjoy every minute of every day because you never know when it's going to be your last. I have to hang up now. I'm going for the tape. I'll send it your way.
Thank you.